All right, let's just jump right in. What if I told you that all of successful investing, I mean, every single winning strategy, all the financial wisdom you hear about, it all boils down to just one powerful idea? Seriously, an idea so crucial that if you don't have it, well, you're not really investing at all.
And here it is. This isn't my idea, by the way. It comes straight from the legend himself, the father of value investing, Benjamin Graham. He actually called it the secret of sound investment. And it's just three little words: margin of safety. So that's what we're going to do in this explainer. We're going to unpack exactly what he meant and why this concept is, without a doubt, non-negotiable. Okay, so first things first, we have to get this straight. The margin of safety isn't just some other piece of jargon you can add to your investing checklist. No. Graham's point was that this is the principle. It's the one central idea that everything else, valuation, diversification, you name it, it all flows from this one concept. You know, a good way to think about it is like the foundation of a house. Everything else, your analysis of a company's value, how you build your portfolio, even how you manage your own emotions when the market gets crazy, all of that is built on top of this one thing. It's the unifying thread that holds it all together. It's the reason why intelligent investing actually, works over the long haul. All right, so we know it's important, but what is it exactly? What is this buffer we keep talking about? Let's nail down a really clear definition. Okay, at its heart, it's actually pretty simple. It's the difference between the price you pay for something and the value you think you're getting. That's it. It's your cushion. It's a buffer that's there to protect you. And not just from you being wrong in your analysis, which happens, but also from just plain bad luck and the fact that, hey, the future is always uncertain. You're not trying to eliminate risk. You can't. You're just building a way to absorb the shocks when they come. And this really gets to the core of it all. The huge difference between price and value. Price, well, that's what the market is screaming at you every single day. It's emotional, it's volatile, it's all over the place. But value, that's different. That's what you figure out through careful, calm analysis. And that gap, that space you build between the crazy price and the stable value, that's your margin of safety. You engineer it on purpose. But you might be thinking, hold on a second. If I'm good at this, if my analysis is solid, why do I even need a buffer, right? It's a fair question. If you've done the work, why not just trust your own forecast? Well, because of this. Because the future is just fundamentally unpredictable. I mean, think about it. Whose financial model perfectly predicted the 2008 credit crisis, or a global pandemic in 2020 that would shut everything down, or the inflation shock of 2022? Nobody. The margin of safety exists for one simple reason. Forecasts fail. All the time. It's just a humble admission that we can't see the future, so we better build a fortress to survive it. Okay, enough theory. That all sounds good. But how does this actually work in the real world? How do smart investors actually apply this idea? So first up, valuation. You know how easy it is to get sucked into the hype, right? You hear a great story about a company and you start paying for growth that's years and years away, maybe growth that never even shows up. The margin of safety approach is like the perfect antidote to that. It forces you to be conservative. It makes you focus on what could go wrong, not just what could go right. You end up buying real, tangible value today, not just a story about tomorrow. And always remember this: a fantastic company can be a terrible investment if you pay too much for it. And it's not just about the price you pay. The idea also applies to the company itself, specifically its financial health. Think of a company with a super strong balance sheet, not a lot of debt, plenty of cash. That balance sheet is like a giant shock absorber. It's the company's own margin of safety, built right in. What does a resilient balance sheet really give a company? One word: time. That's the key. It buys them time to survive a crisis, time to outlast their weaker competitors, time to figure things out when stuff goes wrong. And for you, the investor, that time is everything. It's what stops a temporary market dip from turning into a permanent, devastating loss. And then there's diversification. I absolutely love this way of putting it. Diversification is humility in portfolio form. It's not about saying, I don't know anything. It's about saying, hey, even my absolute best idea might be wrong. So by spreading your bets, you're building a margin of safety across your whole portfolio. You're making sure that one bad call doesn't take down the entire ship. Okay, let's pivot to what might be the single most important part of this whole thing. Because the margin of safety isn't just about protecting your money from a bad economy or a bad company. It's about protecting your money from yourself. Just think about this chain reaction. It all starts because you know you bought with a margin of safety. You bought at a nice discount. So when the market starts to panic and prices fall, you're not as scared, you're calmer. And that calm prevents you from making the absolute biggest mistake in investing, panic selling at the very bottom. It lets you stay disciplined, and that's what protects your long-term returns. So at the end of the day, the buffer isn't just protecting your investment. It's protecting the investor. It's protecting you. It gives you the psychological breathing room you need to act rationally when everyone around you is losing their minds to fear or greed.
All right, so as we start to bring this home, let's really lock in why this idea is so timeless. This isn't some trend or a fad. It's not something that only works in certain markets. It's permanent.
And it doesn't matter what kind of investor you are. Maybe you're a defensive investor. You want to play it super safe and you demand a massive margin of safety. Or maybe you're more enterprising and you're willing to do a ton of research to accept a slightly smaller one. Either way, the core principle is the same. For both of you, the margin of safety can never ever be zero. It's just not an option. Because the moment you give up that buffer, the second you pay a price that needs everything to go perfectly right, you've crossed a very important line. You're not investing anymore, you're just speculating. You're betting. And that's a whole different and much more dangerous game to play.
You know, when you really boil it all down, everything an intelligent investor does, analyzing a company, diversifying, even just controlling their own emotions, it's all about one thing. It's an attempt to create, to protect, or to widen their margin of safety. It's not just one good idea out of many. It is the central guiding principle of sound investment. So the question to ask yourself isn't, do I have one? The real question is mine big enough to handle whatever surprises the future has in store?